nature walks and indulging in pampering. And of course, family time is so important. I make sure that my stagers and mover guys get their family time on the weekends. We do not do stagings on the weekends, people, just during the week. So on that note, Lanada, you are welcome to go ahead and present today. We're looking forward to it. This is exciting. And we are recording, everybody. So if you missed some of it, gotta hop off. This will be up, and I'm really trying to be really good. I just cleaned up my YouTube channel. So all of these future webinars are going to be up on YouTube going forward on my channel, which is Krisztina Bell.
Okay.
And that's it. That's all you, Lanada, now. I'm taking
Well, hello again, Krisztina. Thank you for having me as a return. Come back and talk to your audience, the no vacancy audience, and then more and some more. So thank you all for being here. I'm glad that you were able to take a quick hour lunch break and just kind of jump on and let's talk about some fall stuff together, some decorating. I'm really excited to be here, and I am just grateful that you all are coming to spend some time. So for the sake of time, we'll go ahead and get started. We will do a little short question and answer at the end. If anyone has any questions, my information is in the chat, as well as it will be posted in the last on the last slide. So if you care to reach out, do so. If I can ever assist with any design projects or help out in any way, speak to any of your other separate groups, then feel free to reach out. I am absolutely willing and would love to do so. So yes, Krisztina, we are already in September. This year has blown by, and yeah, all those fall decorations are going up. We wouldn't know it, of course, by the temperatures because we're still hitting those days where we're in the high 80s and all of that, close to 90s. Some areas are probably even still, depending on where you're logging in those areas are low 90s. But you know, we are in the fall. It is September, and we're already seeing those posts like you're saying, said, Krisztina. We're already seeing people, even while it's so hot outside, put out their fall decor on their doorsteps and things like that. And we're already thinking about how we can start cozying up our homes to prepare for those gathering times, you know, with family and friends. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. I'll be sharing some trends. And so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And what I usually do is I will jump off of the video just so I can go through this and let me know if you cannot see my screen, and I'll figure out why that is. How are we looking?
I started screen sharing. Oh, there we go. Yep, getting there.
Okay, let's see here. Cool. Oops. Okay. All right, great. So we're going to be talking about fall. As we said, we're talking about the essence of colorful, cozy, sustainable design and what that means for us. And so let me try and enlarge this.
Yeah, go in present mode.
Is that better?
Yeah, perfect.
Good. So we'll be talking about the essence of colorful, cozy, sustainable design, fall trends and the aesthetics for a warm, cozy home, which is something we all want. I know we do get a lot of realtors on these as well. So hopefully these will be some really good design ideas and tips to help you decorate and style those homes to make them more marketable. But if you are thinking about how you can present a more cozy, colorful, sustainable design home for your own space, then hopefully this will certainly appeal to you as well. So again, I am Lanada Chanel Duncan with BE Decor's Interiors, and I am excited to get started with this. So let's go move on. I like to usually start, as Krisztina said, with a story or so, just to kind of get you guys engaged and perked up. But I think I wanted to do something a little different today. So today I wanted to start with a quick trivia, just so that you can kind of see where you are, even with knowing something about the design trends. So I got three quick trivia questions, and then the next slide I'll talk about some answers. But I want you for yourself to just kind of, if you want to write it down, that's fine. If you just want to kind of think about, you know, what your answers are for these three, you can certainly just kind of keep those in your head. So first trivia question, in fall 2024, what change in warmth has been predicted for living rooms? Is it electric fireplaces are being swapped for holographic fireplaces? Minimalistic white interiors are being replaced by softer tones like terracotta. Fleece blankets are now more entirely out of recycled leaves, and all homes will be required to feature candle walls for warmth. What do you think that is? Next
I
question.
like B. I like B. I don't.
Yeah, we'll see if that's comes
Hmm.
close to me. Let's see. Next question. Which change in kitchen design has been gaining popularity for fall 2024? Think about all these pictures of kitchen designs that you're seeing. What's the change that we're noticing in this? Kitchen cabinets and bold jewel tones are making a comeback. Is it curved countertops and cabinetry for softer, more organic shapes? Or is it replacing refrigerators with open shelving for a more minimalistic look? Think about
Making
that.
these tough. You're making these tough. Ooh.
Well, yeah. So think about your answer for that one.
I am seeing some different colored kitchen cabinetry. I will say that.
That a lot, absolutely. A lot of those bold and jewel tones. So this one could be actually, it could go a couple of ways, but
Yeah, good.
the one that I specifically have for the answer. So put that
Gotcha.
one in your head. All right. And then the last one is, how are people gathering in a unique way this fall? They've been kind of doing this for a minute. And when I kind of read a little more about this, I was just like, wow, it blew my mind. But according to new lifestyle trends, there's a certain trend that's kind of perking up in the way people are gathering in their circles. A, organizing large outdoor picnics in the middle of pumpkin patches. B, hosting silent dinners where everyone communicates by writing notes. C, hosting dinner in the dark parties to enhance your taste and smell senses. Or D, gathering for leap jump festivals where people competitively jump in giant pile of leaves.
Interesting.
Well,
Wow, this is good.
let's break that down a bit, okay?
Hmm.
It would be interesting if you want to put your answer in the chat, go ahead. It doesn't
Oh, gosh.
matter, just so that we can all see who got it right and who, I don't know, was a little way off. It's just out there what they're thinking. But
Host
let's move on to the answers that I'll
dark
give to
parties.
you. In fall, what changes in warmth has been predicted for living rooms? We are definitely seeing the minimalist white interiors are being replaced with softer, warmer tones like terracottas. And this trend is focusing on creating more inviting and comforting living spaces by introducing a warm and cozier hues. So that's something that we're seeing a lot of. And so,
Yeah, I agree on that one. B. Yeah. You got that one right.
which change in kitchen design is gaining popularity for fall? Curved countertops, huge. As you said, we are seeing those bolder colors being used, those jewel tones, but curved countertops, if you pretty much go to showrooms or look in the magazines, we're seeing a lot of that. Curve with the trimming and all that, it's just becoming very popular. In cabinetry, it's softer, it's more organic shapes that we're seeing. We're seeing these things not only play out in our living spaces, living room spaces, our bedrooms and our nightstands, but now we're seeing them on our countertops as well, and in our, I'm sorry, like cabinetry and things like that. And so, yeah, it's giving us that softer aesthetic, a more streamlined flow to spaces. And how are people gathering in a unique way? That is C. Dinner in the dark. I just wanted to put that one in there because I thought it was fun. So dinner in the dark parties are just becoming popular. I have never been to one. If you have, share with us. I think
Yeah, I'd like to know if somebody's been to one because I haven't. I've been thinking about it. That'd be
and
interesting.
particularly has some companies that are doing this. And so what it does is you're in complete darkness. The staff have on these certain glasses that allows them to see the meal and the menu. You don't know all of what it is, but the idea is that it enhances your taste and smell senses. So these gatherings, they emphasize relaxation, mindfulness, and fitting into broader wellness trends as well. So just thought we'd have some fun with that one.
I love that. That was fun.
Hope you guys did good.
Yeah. Missed one.
So I wanted to talk about the essence of fall. I think when we think about fall and the season that we're in, it's important to understand what the essence of fall is. Why is this like people get that feeling of wanting to decorate and wanting to, style up or do something a little different in their home? What is it about the season of fall that it brings us and that it gives to us? And so I'm sharing this video just to kind of give you some idea and to bring some visual into that. But it's about abundance. It's about reaping rewards and harvesting. Fall is about change coming on board. It's about warmth and gathering and exhaling and relaxing. All of those things is what we think about when we think of fall. But here's some other things just to kind of get your mind going as it relates to fall. It's a brief 1-minute video, so enjoy. So I hope that gives you kind of an idea of why this fall thing, tends to kind of get us going and what the essence of it is all about. Just wanted to kind of share that with you for a brief moment. But fall in general, the importance of fall to our home and our health, it has a lot to do with how we kind of blend these things together, what we experience throughout this season. Fall brings a mental boost to it. It provides a seasonal change, as I mentioned in the last slide, that stimulates the needs and the desires to engage with nature, indoors and outdoors. So we begin to see people walking as they've been doing through the summer, but they're walking, holding hands, enjoying the turning of the leaves and things like that. So it's releasing stress for us. Fall has a great way to give us that mental boost. It's also an immunity enhancement. It delivers a shift towards creating routines that prioritize healthier, home cooked meals, comfortable, cozy relaxation. We tend to retreat more in our homes. We gather with our friends and family members for the holidays. Fall gives us that whole sense of cooking. We harvest those things that we've grown throughout the summer and spring months, and we start cooking them and from our gardens, and so we see this color of food as it changes, and it entices us to kind of eat healthier vegetables and things like that. So it is that immunity booster as we look to have those meals and those gatherings more in our homes or meet up at restaurants with our friends and things like that. So that social connection, like I just mentioned, it kind of is a booster for things like that. Fall offers opportunities to facilitate gatherings and to nurture relationships. So there's an importance with this season that we need to make sure that we connect with as it relates to fall and it relates to how we infuse it into our home and our health. But there's a decorative objective when we talk about how we want to create our living spaces and infuse the elements of fall into our homes. And as we again tap into those elements, or the essences of what we saw in the video of fall, the warmth, the comfort, the cozy, all of these things relate so well to what fall is and why we enjoy the experience of the season, okay? Or need to or should remember to enjoy the experience of the season. So as it relates to warmth, it relates to us both literally and emotionally, okay? As temperatures drop in the fall, warmer environments offer physical comfort, making spaces feel inviting. This sensory experience helps homeowners unwind, We feel more protected, and it enhances emotional well-being. So there's that warmth aspect of what the season brings. Also, comfort. It is essential for making a home functional and enjoyable. A comfortable space allows for easier relaxation and recovery from demands of everyday life. So we have that incorporation of comfort into our homes. And then, of course, there's a cozy. It evokes feelings of intimacy and security. Fall and having a cozy room feels nurturing, right? With colors and things of the fall, it feels nurturing. So this is particularly important in fall seasons when the desire to hunker down and spend more time indoors increases. So as we think about how we're styling our home, I like to always think about the senses. I think I mentioned this in previous presentations, but I'm always thinking about the senses when I do interior design, because if we can create experiences that taps into all of our senses, we enjoy the experience of living in our homes even more. Our homes give more back to us. So a home styled for fall should tap into our 8 prominent senses, and these are ways where that would help. Sight, of course, is the ability to view and process things around us. Of course, smell, identifying the microscopic molecules released by substances around us. Sound, detecting the vibrations of periodic changes, things like that. And of course, taste, perception of the environment through the detection of what's sweet, what's sour, what's salty, the flavors in our mouth. All of these are prominent senses that fall can tap into and that our homes can be styled according to. And of course, there's touch, the awareness of stimulants, okay, and how things make us feel. The body's sense of spatial orientation and external internal, internally, the body's ability to recognize, interpret its own internal cues. And then, of course, there's balance. All of these things help us create that multi-sensory effect. And the way we style our homes can bring the essence of fall into our living spaces in these ways if we don't forget these elements and these senses that should be tuned into as we decorate our spaces. So this one I think is extremely important, is that we remember all of these senses as we're decorating and looking at making any changes or ever designing any space for that reason, okay? So let's talk about the colors of fall. Here we are with, again, we've got our spaces, pretty much the basics already set, but we wanted to maybe do something a little different and influence some color in these spaces. And of course, fall colors are just really, they've been carrying out throughout the year. They've just kind of been so prominent in all of the design that we've seen throughout the year. But I think there's something that we always need to make sure we key into when it comes to colors and design. Fashion, design actually usually follows fashion, right? In other words, fashion is kind of the leader of where we're going when it comes to interior design, believe it or not. And so a lot of times we can look at fashion and see what we're seeing a lot of, whether it's pattern, what kind of patterns or flowers or, not paisleys a lot, but sometimes paisleys and plaids and all of these things. We're seeing more metals and jewelries and things like that being used. And that can tell us where we're going from an interior design or decorating perspective. And with these colors that we've seen throughout the year, they're catching on and they're becoming so much more prominent in fall. But fashion has done a great way of leading us in this direction. And so here are some ways that I want you to think about fall colors as it relates to fashion. Another quick video. Okay. And so as we're seeing that, we're seeing fall touch us in every space, right? And through all of these colors that can be utilized in our spaces in so many different ways. And we're seeing fashion influence these ways that we're using these colors. And I think it's amazing. So it's something exciting to watch, if you ask me. But we talked a little bit, or we mentioned, and even in our marketing, that we would talk about the importance of sustainability. And I'm glad sustainability, sorry, I'm just running over my words today. But I'm glad we did, because this is becoming extremely important as we're talking about and as we're seeing people who are focusing more on spaces within their homes. And so sustainability is something that we cannot forget, even if we're looking at creating more trendy spaces and things like that. We need to look for a balance between trendiness and sustainability, or making sure that we get them both, but focus not so much on one or trendiness, but focus also on incorporating some sustainability as it relates to creating our living spaces. And so this will give us a stylish yet a conscious approach to fall decor when we remember these things and remember these ways that we need to infuse this into how we live for day to day. So if we're thinking about ways that we can add color or add this essence of fall, we want to look at things that we can reuse, right? Reuse and restyle decor to extend its life cycle. That's a great way of making our homes more sustainable, okay? So we're investing in timeless pieces from the primary point, actually, but from secondary markets and vintage stores and antiques and thrift shops and estate sales. These things offer us a great opportunity to source and to procure and curate pieces that we can take home and use and know that we have kind of helped, sustain, I guess, our way of living. So choosing more earthy, natural palettes, durable materials, things like that, that carry through multiple seasons rather than investing in trendy but short-lived items, that's going to be extremely important. So organic materials like cotton, linen, eco-friendly wools, all of these things are perfect for blending style with sustainability. And we're going to talk about this some more. But I know sustainability has been said to be a trend, and I don't think it is at all. I think it is here to stay. Which is what this says, and it's a little dark, but I want us to look at sustainability more often and consider that when we're looking at styling any of our living spaces, that we need to go in this direction to help us do our part, I guess, and saving the planet and being more eco-friendly and more concerned with the duration of how we want to live while we're here. So trending curves and bold patterns. There are, again, this curves has come up again. Curves in furniture, softness, round shapes, all of these things evokes a sense of comfort for us, right? One of those essences of fall that I talked about earlier. And bold patterns or richly textured statement rugs and pillows, these things can help define and warm up your space. So these are some of them can be smaller accessories that don't cost as much and don't require you to make large purchases or invest large amounts of money, but can certainly make a statement difference, in your space and make a difference in how your space feels. But this is a trend. Curves are also becoming more prominent again in kitchens, as we mentioned before, where rounded edges, countertops, and those things help smooth things out, and it helps actually make it more functional. So we don't see those sharp lines and that, we can kind of bump into and hurt ourselves on or run into and things like that. So it's actually more functional in how we live within our spaces. So that part, we are seeing that trend with an uptick, and we're loving the look of what it's doing for us. So just remember these things like these pillows and throws and sofas or rugs, and how these things can be changed out with bolder patterns or curvy rugs and things like that, curvy pillows, and what the whimsiness of this can do for our space. Textiles and soft furnishings, again, I can't say this enough about furnishings, but even the textiles, curtains and drapes. So these are textures that really help make a difference in how we live and how we feel. It infuses that warmth that we're looking for, that comfort that we need out of our homes. So curtains and drapes, they add texture and warmth, mixed materials like velvets and wools for added depth. And the more natural and sustainable the material, again, the better off we are all. Upholstering and pillows, soft upholsteries, chunky knits for pillows, things like that. We're seeing a lot more of that. The pillows with pops of color, all of these things, again, appeal to the coziness of our spaces. So just let's not forget textiles, soft furnishings, all of these things have a huge impact. And then lighting is always important to talk about because lighting, again, can really create the statement that we want to make in the cool, in the warm and cozy, right? Lighting has a great way of doing that. Layered lightering. We hear that term being used more often now. And basically that's never forgetting what that is not forgetting to use table lamps, pendant lights, floor lamps, things like that to create that dynamic ambiance. Solar lighting, you know, all of these things working together help create the mood in your home, right? Using dimmers during relaxing, quieter moments to help kind of turn down the light. All of these things save energy. So saving energy with LED bulbs and LED lighting, that's also going to be another important thing that we have to make sure that we're incorporating. But the trends that we are seeing, those big, bold fixtures, we're seeing a lot of large pieces of lighting being used more and more. It's like go big or go home, right? Like, so the oversized pendant lights, the oversized chandeliers over our dining tables, these things are becoming more of a desire for our homes because they, again, help us appeal to that personality of our spaces, right? It helps us live more comfortably within our space. It offers more lighting. And so these things are really good. The dual lamps has always been something that we've had, but now making sure they're big enough that your lighting is layered and you've got overhead lighting and you've got, you know, task lighting and all of these things working more together within your space is going to be key. And to talk a little bit more about sustainability, because I can't, you know, I can't stress this enough, how very important these things are and how much they carry as far as value goes into how we live. So we have to start thinking about more ways where we can make our homes more eco-friendly, right? Using fewer materials and choosing materials that are non-toxic, sustainable materials that are produced. And we're seeing a lot more of these enter the market. Recycled materials, a lot more of those are entering the market. Things that are biodegradable, you know, that break down easily. Bamboos are some of these corks, woods, you know, cottons, flax, a lot of these things we have to kind of keep in mind when we're looking at furnishings or accessorizing our spaces as well, especially during the fall season. And the good thing is about it is that fall provides that for you. You can go right outside your door and, you know, grab some of these things that will kind of help, you know, you get that experience in your home. You can find them right in your backyard and they don't cost a thing, right? So those natural organic materials, you know, natural woods, some stones, you know, rocks, things like that, live plants, making sure we incorporate this, especially during the fall season. Dried florals, pampas grass, eucalyptus, wheat, all of these things can be thrown in a vase or two, you know, or a bowl or so, just to kind of give your home that look of tapping into nature and look of, you know, the warmth, the coziness, the casualness of what home is supposed to be, right? And so vegan materials are becoming a lot more popular as well, and is another great way for us to be able to do this. So there are certain polyesters that are out there, hemp that's out there. These things are less cruelty, you know, for life, and for they're cruelty free, I should say, for alternatives, and that we can use to kind of make sure that we are tapping into that task of what we need to be concerned with regards to eco-friendliness. So there are some options listed there for you. But the trend, of course, is we're seeing a lot of branches in these vases. If we look at a lot of these magazines again, and we're looking at ways that we've been incorporating these in the foyers and on our dining tables and throughout our homes, we're seeing, flowers used are still a great use for adding color, of course, but we're seeing more branches too thrown in these vases. We've been doing this for some time, but we're seeing more of it, and it's becoming more of a more luxury trend that we're seeing these spaces decorated this way. So adding these branches again that you can get right out of your yard, bare branches that are just adorned, no leaves or with leaves, either way, are just great ways to give yourself that element of nature and to add them into your space. Okay, they're cost effective, they're sustainable, and they just help bring the outdoors inside into your home. And it's a great way to do that. So I love the look of what those things can do. So ways to make your home look more appealing through the fall. And this is really good to if you're staging properties, these are just great simple ways that you can just make a house look more marketable. If you're having guests or friends and family come along or come over and you're sharing, those great family times, these are just great things that you can do to kind of bring in that comfort and bring in that feeling of warmth. So moving away from stark minimalism, believe it or not, for so long, we've been hearing so much about the minimalistic look and, but sometimes that seems cold and it doesn't seem as welcoming to a lot of people when we walk into a space and there's no personality in it. It's clean, it's modern, it's great, but then it lacks something. And most of the time what it's lacking is the warmth and coziness. To some people that does not give the sense of that. And so we're seeing more of the casual maximalism, not some that really kind of is like heavy on the maximalistic side, but a little bit more casual with that. So it creates a more comforting and inviting atmosphere in living room spaces and other common areas where coziness is prioritized. So you want to make sure that we're making those spaces where we're going to gather more comfortable and more inviting by doing some of these things that we've talked about. Okay, so and then giving it that casual maximalism look. Using layered textures is a good way of doing this. So give us some more layered looks, and that's a great way of appealing to this kind of fall coziness. Again, using layered textures, including natural materials like woods and linens. Pair these things together. Harder finishes with softer finishes. So woods with brass. Woods with metals. And things like this. It's the layered look that kind of makes the home look more livable, more lived in, more personalized, and again, it helps people feel more comfortable in these spaces. So remembering those things when we're setting up coffee tables or countertops or dining room tables as people walk through homes is going to be extremely important because it's going to help them feel connected to the space. And then go bold in key areas, right? Using bold, oversized decor elements like I talked about before, and statement lighting, shifting from smaller to more minimalist, from more minimalist accents to bringing a sense of whimsy and personality into space with more maximalist things. So that go big or go home sense, while it's, sometimes people are apprehensive to go larger with certain pieces, just think about, again, the personality of what that means. It's not being afraid to to bring it up a little bit in size and in grandeur, and so we're hearing that and seeing that in a lot of spaces, but in key spaces where you're going to have certain lightings, your dining room tables, your kitchen areas, your bathrooms, things like that. Don't be afraid to go a little bit bolder with these spaces. And there are some spaces that I want to make sure that you really don't forget in our homes. So these are those areas that we just want to kind of incorporate and make sure that we kind of keep a lookout for when we're talking about kind of decorating and styling these spaces to give it that fall feel. Of course, fireplaces have always kind of, we've seen these so much when we look at pictures of cozy homes during the fall. We see the fireplaces decorated with things on the mantle and all of that. But actually, fireplaces are actually becoming more streamlined now. You know, a lot of people are kind of removing those mantles or removing all the things away from their fireplaces and going with a more cleaner, modern look of stone and things like that. And so, since that is the case, we can style around that. You know, we can use bolder patterns in our towels and things like that to add, again, color to our spaces. But of course, these are larger projects if you're really kind of creating or in that building stage of it or redesigning stage of your home. But for just smaller things that you can use, you know, there are certain types of decor items and accents that you can use to style around that. If you are looking at changing up some fireplaces or adding some into your home, they are think about them as a focal point. You know, the more the more you give them a certain look, they become the focal point of your home that people kind of gravitate to. Those fireplaces with multiple sides to them where everyone can experience them. They offer 360-degree views of the frame. You know, they can kind of corner fireplaces. Those are really exciting to see and to use in spaces. And it gives your home definitely a more modern look, but they more importantly create a sense of gathering and warmth in your home. And definitely let's not forget our bathrooms. The plush towels we can pull out, you know, the more plush towels, the softer mats, you know, we a lot of us tend to use these anyway throughout the year, but we can maybe switch up the colors if we want to do that, you know, pull out some colors that you use just for fall. Throw in some robes around your space, especially if you're, you know, having guests or things like that that are going to be sharing your home with this holiday season or this fall. So those are great ways to kind of add that cozy aesthetic to the experience, right? So making the bathroom feel like it's a retreat is going to be huge on the falls because again, we're spending more time in these areas. So using indoor plants more, eucalyptus, ferns, dry branches, vases, introducing refreshing, relaxing, natural elements and vibes to your space should really be where you want to go. Okay. And another trend, we're seeing comfortable fireplaces that have become and allow homeowners to switch between wood burning and gas depending on your mood, right? Some people love that wood burning look of a fireplace, and some people sometimes want just a simple, cleaner lines, you know, and things like that. So this experience getting one of these, they are out there and they are becoming more popular, but these things enhance the practicality and the ambiance of a great fall decorating space. So research those if you're interested in changing up your fireplaces. Those are some great trends that we're also seeing. Okay. So I hope that these have given you guys some ideas or enticed your appetite a little bit and wanting to maybe switch some things up for the fall. You know, those colors that we're seeing in fashion, watch fashion, you know, it introduces those colors that we might want to see in our homes. We could certainly get a lot of insight from doing that. And so I do want to open it up for some questions. If there are any questions, I will open that up. Krisztina?
Everybody is so quiet today. I think only one person had to jet out, but so a couple things, since I don't see any questions yet, but I'll give people time to think of something. A couple things that you did mention, because I take notes and stuff like this, but you know, it's the trends thing so much that I just, you know, there's trends that come in, trends that come out. It does not necessarily mean that you have to follow the trends. And I say that because literally when I was doing the interview on Fox 5, like right after me, Egypt Sherrod came in and she was just like, you know, don't follow those trends. People, it's not about the trends. She's like, you know, don't worry about all that. It's just how do you make it your own, you know, and you know, bringing in, you know, okay, a few of the earthy tones and things if that's your thing, but not too trendy. So I love that because I was also stating decorating is different than staging in my interview. And so, you know, I love that here we do a little bit of both. I like that you talked about, you know, making it your own if you're decorating your home and living in it. And then also here's some ideas for staging for the real estate industry too. So I really appreciate that, because obviously these webinars are supposed to be informational, and I like kind of tapping into both aspects there. And definitely lots these dark colors, like this picture right here, believe it or not, are, so you know that we're doing the project for Furnish with Love, the decorating project, and these are the colors that the mom actually wants, these dark greens and greenery, and she's even got greenery ivy like down one of the walls as a backdrop in her bedroom. So I'm thinking about putting the master bed against that, because she's got lights strung in between and she can turn them on at night, and it helps her. And so it's kind of cool how I can kind of relate to all these different things. Color in the kitchen. Have you seen a lot more green this year? I feel like we're seeing green
everywhere. I mean, a part,
yeah
I think, is because we are infusing more, my favorite word, biophilia, into our spaces. And so, we're incorporating more plants and things like that. We're pulling these things in. And I think that's wonderful that we're doing that. So that adds to it, that element of nature. But green has just become
I
like,
know.
and I mean, all shades of green. And I think it's
Yeah.
because of what it does. It does internally help us tap into that, that our mind, our bodies we are made kind of with that essence of wanting to connect with nature because of what it does for us. So it gives us that sense of connectedness, and I think that's what green is doing. It can be such a luxury color to use, these darker green emeralds and all of that. It really kind of gives a certain chicness that I think a lot of
Yeah.
us are going for as well, and luxury kind of living. So I
So what
love.
are your favorite places to go get like fall decor? I mean, I know Target and Walmart, they all switch everything around. You go back in the store and you're like, whoa, wait a minute, it's all changed out. Spring is gone. And then I think some of the other places already go straight to basically Halloween and Thanksgiving, and like bam, right after Labor Day.
Yeah, it's been out probably since what, May.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of crazy. Is there any favorite places like I'm a vintage person, so I like to go to like Antiques and Beyond on Cheshire Bridge Road, and I like to go to there's a what is it, my friend's place or something on Petrie Industrial. I like totally vintage things. So I like to go and look and find certain pieces, and then you can kind of redo them, or I'm into glass and acrylic and just unique pieces. I don't know. That's just me. I'm a vintage. I even like vintage jewelry too. So,
You
but I
do.
love color. I
Yeah.
did say color on my interview. I'm like, bring pops of color in, especially when you're doing staging through the pillows and the throws, like you said. And artwork is big with our company. We love bringing in pieces of artwork because it just really pops on camera, especially.
Artwork is a great way. And I remember you told me about your love and for vintage, and I'm glad you brought that up. But that, I think, is something when I talked about reusing things that we either already have, or things that you get at at vintage places, or at thrift stores and things like that. Those are great ways to kind of get a feel for something new that you've never incorporated before. So when we have certain things in our homes that we've used over the years, there are consignment stores where you can swap out and try new products and try new things. So I think look for opportunities like that, going to a lot of these vintage places that you can get something unique, that can become a good talking piece that, again, is going to last a duration, something that's going to kind of be like the talking piece for years to come in your home. Wouldn't it be nice to get that great piece that you bring out every fall, even if it's artwork, even if it's a piece of art that you kind of switch out through other seasons, because of what that piece does for you when you have these family gatherings and other settings throughout your home. So art is an easy thing that I can actually be switched around or switched up during different seasons, especially during the fall.
So we got a couple questions here. A good method to preserve leaves or branches taken from outside for decor.
There are products actually that you can use to preserve these things out in the market. I would definitely suggest, either going on Amazon, starting there, of course, and talking to a botanist, your local store, or some,
Probably like Michael's Arts and Crafts,
yeah,
probably.
Yeah. And then ask them, you know, what kind of products are out there, again, that are biodegradable or something that is very kind of user friendly, health wise, that you can spray on your plants and things like that to, or branches, to kind of keep them with that luster look, you know, luster shine.
Google, or hello everybody, will you get the chat GPT app on your phone? You can type in anything into there and ask it all kinds of questions, and it'll give you a whole scenario of what to do to you. I know that we used to take the leaves and flowers and put them like in a book for a while and just let them kind of sit in there and dry out
Great.
in a dry place. I know we used to do that long time ago. My friend's place, that's it's on Peachtree Industrial. And it's basically estate sale leftovers, and there's some people that have booths in there. Now Antiques and Beyond, same thing. Estate sales are another big thing. I think a lot of people are getting into that, and that's where you see all those vintage jewelry on Instagram. You know where they're going. They're going to the estate sales where they live, and they're purchasing it and then reselling it on Instagram. Just FYI. I'm trying to think some other, do you have some other favorite place? I mean, I know there's like some other place called Stash Decor Warehouse, and then there's another one I think over on Piedmont Road. Can't think of the name of that one. Queenie's in Decatur has mostly clothing, but they do have some vintage pieces of furniture and decor in the front area of their store. And some of it is actually really cute. I saw a queen headboard in there that would be perfect actually for that girl, the mom's room on our project, but I don't know if we'll want to spend a little bit because we have a budget. But yeah, they have some neat stuff too. Any places that you go to?
I would definitely encourage.
I mean, Scott's Antique Market, a lot of designers go there. Yes.
And Scott's is a great way to meet other
Yes.
vendors that have locations elsewhere. Of course, they come to Scott's once a month, and then they have their own location. So I would say it's a good place to start because you meet other vendors, and that's where you find out about a lot of these other places. And depending on what side of town you want to venture onto each weekend, you can probably spend a whole day on one particular area, going from location to location. And speaking of that, I know she does mainly a lot of closing, but if you've ever done a bus tour with what's it called, Thrifting Atlanta?
Yes.
I mean, you can find out about a ton of places that offer consignment and offer opportunities for you to thrift and curate unique products that you can use in your home as well. So not just clothing, but in your home. So reach out to Thrifting Atlanta. She's been around for years, and she is absolutely grown over the years.
They have an Instagram. I think she has an Instagram page, right?
She's everywhere, so you can find
Yeah,
it.
Thrifting Atlanta. That's a good one. I like that one. Let's see. So somebody, I lost my cursor here. Where's it went to? There it is. I have to like click it here. Swapping out accents in an already themed room to try to make it feel more fall accepting. Kind of answered a little bit.
You know, I think it's important that they spend some time planning out your space, you know, and what you might want to do, because by that I mean look at what you already have and think about what type of vibe you want to create this fall. You know, it's something so simple. You know, what is it that I'm looking for? Do I want to just change some color and add some pops of color? You know, so think about planning out your space first. So that way you have an idea of what you're looking for, and you're not, you know, overreaching or overspending and investing in pieces that you're not going to use, and things that are going to last throughout the season or be transitional from season to season. I think is really important. And I was going to create actually a slide based on that alone, but I think that just says exactly what it needs to say. You want to make sure that if you're incorporating new pieces, these are things that are you're going to have for some time. They're going to be sustainable, right? But that in that word is also meaning that you can see yourself using this again and again. For those things, we all have a closet full of probably pumpkins and, or I don't anymore. I've gotten rid of a lot of my, but just things that we tend to, just kind of store and collect because we're in home goods and we're walking by and it looks cute this season. But is that going to be something that's going to, really you're going to want something with the, high metal look or the glossy metal look next year, so you want to find pieces actually that you can see yourself using again and again, unless you're planning on, doing something like a consignment or a garage sale, because if not, we're collecting things in our homes that we don't necessarily need to store up anymore. So think smarter and plan your spaces from color to product.
I like moving things around in my house. I do a little bit of that. Change things out, change books out, change out instead of no blankets, bring the blankets in. And then sometimes my blankets that I have in the summer, I fold them up and stick them in a basket and look at like filler in a pretty basket kind of thing. And I'm always changing up pillows, changing them out a little bit. And that's why I like to do the consignment and the vintage, because then you're not spending a whole ton of money on it, but you love the look of it. You can change it out, or maybe, hey, I've got these pillows and donate them, or for a good cause, or maybe they can sell them for you at a consignment and then you purchase something else. I kind of like, I'm a recycling kind of, I like to utilize.
Now it's just really
Yeah. I'm big into color too. So artwork, you can always move around your art pieces and things or add to the collection. I mean, I know I've done that a little bit, moved around a couple things. Just change up the look one day and just play around with it. Take a picture of it and then see how it looks and ask friends. I know people do that all the time. I do it with my friends when I'm like, what do you think about what I'm wearing? Before I went on to the Fox 5, I was like, I have no color what to wear. Should I wear this? Should I wear it? And I was sending pictures to my friends, then I changed up my look. And so you can always do that with friends too, or with, your interior designer friends, if you have any that are willing to spend some time.
I was going to say, that's, I think why, I just forgot my other thought, but I'll go back to your mention about trends real quick. Over 50, it goes faster. It leaves you faster. I want to revert back to what you were saying with regards to trends earlier, because I think when we're talking about changing up looks, well, first of all, hopefully you don't live with someone that's like my husband, because he freaks out when I keep changing things and it just throws him off. Live alone, this is that idea is just perfect for you because you have no one to kind of, chastise you when you keep changing up something that, and a lot of times men in particular, when they get comfortable with something a certain way, they want it to stay that way. And so, it's really challenging sometimes to do that switching up seasonal stuff. But if you've gotten their buy-in, it's good to have the seasonal towels or the seasonal this or the seasonal that, and then they know it's coming, but with regards to trends, when I know on some of the slides I said like this is a trend, but when the idea with trends is that we don't want to chase them, we don't want to necessarily follow them, but we do want to keep an eye out on what the trend is, because trends speak to where we're going as humans, how we're living and how we are approaching life, so sometimes the trends will speak to that and help you come up with the changes that you need to make for how you want to live. And so that's why that trend of sustainability or biophilia, these things are trends now, but the importance and what the value of what they bring to your life and how you live is why you need to incorporate them and make this trend, necessarily a part of living for your everyday and daily life. Not all trends we want to chase, but some we definitely do want to keep a closer look on or hold close to our chest because of what they can do for us and how we live.
Yeah, totally agree there. It's fun to see what it is, but it all starts with the fashion. That's what's so crazy. I love watching the fashion. It keeps it interesting. That's why I can't wait until the paint colors of the year come out. I think that's gonna definitely set the tone a little bit. Because I gotta write a 2025 trends article here soon, and I'm collecting my thoughts. I know one of them is definitely going to be color. Color definitely making a comeback, which I love. So that's going to be one of them. Well, thank you.
Colors too, talk about boldness and pattern and color, but actually what we're seeing in color is those more muted tones.
Yes.
We're seeing actually the paley pinks, and the earthy kind of terracottas,
Yes.
So we're seeing actually the move more into that paley kind of pasty color thing. And
Yeah.
I think it's because they have a ability to overlap into cozy and comfort,
Yes.
and that's why sometimes bold colors don't always do that. Depends on how we mix them, but I think that's why we're seeing more of that paley look come to play.
Yep. Well, thank you all for joining. If you want to know more about upcoming webinars, just follow me at Krisztina Bell on my social media all over. And I know, like I mentioned, a couple classes, webinar for designers that might be on. We are doing a tour and talk at ADAC, which will be coming up very soon in October, which we're excited about. And Lanada and I will definitely work on, I think we should do some more of these webinars. I love them. I'm having a good time and learning a lot too myself. And we've gotten quite a bit of a following, as I mentioned, a lot of design students too from SCAD, also Georgia State, Emory University, and some others are definitely hearing the buzz about some of these events that I've been doing. Classes. Furnished with Love is the local nonprofit that we work with. If anybody's interested in volunteering or learning more information about that organization, they're always looking for designers, volunteers to paint furniture and everything. And they're based in Decatur, Georgia. Any collaboration type marketing, you're working on something, trying to grow your business. I have a lot of connections. And I've been having my, had my own business since I was 27, but here we are 20 years later doing staging now. But I am a marketing person and I'm all about collaboration marketing. And so hence that's why Lanada and I are here. I do women's luncheons and we have a really good time helping other women grow their businesses as well. But definitely we stage houses if you have any staging needs. And I would thank you all for coming. I'm definitely going to do another webinar. We'll see when the next one is. You'll be on our email list. And feel free to contact Lanada if you have any design needs as well. Happy fall, everybody, and take care. Have a good rest of the week. And shout out to our heroes and everybody in remembrance of September 11th. Thanks, guys. We'll catch you all later. And we'll be ending here soon. I was going to put in my information in the chat box there. There we go. Yay. That was good. Woo-woo. Take care, everybody.